So to give you some context here, my latest song is being mixed. I just finished it a couple weeks ago. It is off being mixed, and so I don't have anything else to work on. And as I have been working on some of the previous songs I have released and moving into these new batch of songs, I keep thinking about these two techniques that I've used a lot of that I think elevated my productions, but also are starting to become a hindrance from me moving to the next level in my productions. So the first one is double tracking everything and panning one left and one right. So this is something that a lot of people use. It's a great technique to use, but I think I personally have overused it a ton. And I will show an example of that coming up here in a bit. The other one is something that I've talked about in a previous video as well, and it is just throwing a ton of stuff at the wall in a production and just leaving it there and just hoping that it will sound good because you have so much stuff going on.
Okay, so now here we are in Reaper. This is the song that is currently being mixed. So this is kind of the thing that led me to think about maybe I should quit double tracking everything. And the reason that I sent this out to be mixed, because normally I mix my own stuff, even though I'm not a great mixer, is that I literally could not get this mix to sound right. And I think it was because I had so many things going on. So let me just give you an example of, play a little bit of this so you can get a feel for the song itself. Let's just take a look at the session and see what is going on. So here we have the drums. These are just samples, so they're not going to be double tracked and panned. They're just things that I cobbled together to get the drums to sound the way they do. The bass, also similar. Most people don't double the bass. I do have a stereo bass here at the end, a bass synth that is stereo, so that might be part of the issue, but I have just the normal bass. It sounds fine. And then I have this stereo bass. So those are probably fine as well. I think once we get past the bass and some of the synths, that's when we start having most of the problems that I have been struggling with. So we have the acoustic guitar, which is doubled and panned. The tough part is that actually does sound good. That's the thing. That does sound good. If I were to just solo one of these, it still sounds pretty good, but it doesn't sound as good as this. There's just something about doubling things that makes them sound better. So there's that. So there's one thing that I doubled. Now, these are some electric guitar parts that I have in the chorus. Again, doubled. Again, they sound really good. They sound better than this would. Though that actually sounds pretty good as well. You're starting to see the issue that we're having here is that anything that you just double it instantly makes it better is kind of works until it doesn't in context. Same thing, I have these guitar parts here. Again, doubled. I have these other guitar parts right here for this ending riff. Again, doubled. And then all of my vocals are doubled. We have the verse vocals right here, doubled. All of these chorus vocals are doubled. I have some ahs right here that are also just a lot more than doubles, but so I've just stacked a bunch of things and everything is panned. And so the issue that you're probably seeing here is that nothing is in a spot in the stereo field. Everything is just everywhere. The other issue that we'll discuss briefly is mainly with the drums, and that is just too much going on. So if I just solo the drum part, I think honestly these drums sound really good, but there is just a lot going on in them. Just see right here. And so you'll just notice that there's so much going on. And I think normally these drums wouldn't be too bad, but I think with everything else stacked on top, all of these other elements, it just got too much. Why I should have been able to mix this. I should have been able to mix this song, and I think it's a big part of it is not really my skill as a mixer, even though that can always improve, but it's the production itself, being intentional about everything and making sure that every part fits and is in the space that I want it. So this is a new production that I just started this week. So it's obviously in its beginning stages. I don't have a ton of things for it yet, but coming into this, I was thinking very strongly about those two things. Don't double everything and pick parts really intentionally. And obviously you can double things. Obviously I have doubled some things in here, but I didn't double everything. And I think it's just providing a lot more clarity into what's going on with this thing. So the first off, let's get a basic idea of what we are dealing with here. So let's go over some of the elements and why I specifically chose them in this case. So the first thing is just these acoustic guitars. They're the kind of the backbone of the entire song. Let's turn off the metronome here. And I chose to pan these or double track and pan these specifically because I thought that it would add a lot of stereo width, which is kind of what I wanted. I don't want the guitars to be super loud in the mix, but I want them to be heard. And a great way to get them heard is to just really have them out here on the very extremities of your ears, especially because there's so much high-end rhythmic content in them. They can really be present and bring in energy without being super loud in the mix. So like if I play this and I turn these way down, they're still very present, and they add a little bit of movement and a little bit of rhythm to the song without being super in your face. So I specifically chose to do that to these guitars, and I think it actually turned out well. The next thing that I added after the guitars, we're just going to take this one by one, is these keys. It's just like a Rhodey type patch here. And again, I chose this Rhodes pretty intentionally. I only wanted it to emphasize really specific parts of the chord progression to just to lift it up a little bit, and then it can go back down. So it doesn't play every time. It just plays during some of the chord transitions here. And again, I'm kind of scared about panning things, so I actually lessened the width of this just to get it to really fit with those guitars. It's too loud right now, and I have too much reverb. But if we can just mix this in a little bit, it sounds nice and adds a lot of like kind of depth and movement to the chord changes. Okay, so there's that. The next thing I added, I played around with a bunch of like other guitar parts, ended up not working. And here's the thing about the choosing parts intentionally. I don't want to make it seem like I don't experiment or I don't try throwing different things at the production to see if it works. But I think a lot of times when I do that, I leave everything in instead of stripping back all the stuff that didn't work. I'm like, well, that's there. It sounds fine. It's not perfect. And then I throw something else on there and it's like, that's not fine either. And then and so I'm just layering and layering so many things on that nothing is really a part. It's all just a wash. And so this is a prime example of that, where I tried several different guitar parts and then I finally stumbled across something that I do like. Here we go with this one. I'll just play what it sounds like. Might be too loud or too quiet. There we go. That's fine. Just a little guitar like stab almost, a little like just slide up and down that just adds a little bit of movement. Okay, next up, let's do the drums. Now, this is, again, it's just a drum loop. It's nothing fancy. I kind of wanted it to I want the ending drums to sound something fairly similar to this, but I'll probably play around a lot with the drum sound because there's not that much going on in this production so far. But all I did, I picked a drum loop that I thought was nice. I added some bus compression on there to kind of tighten it up a bit, and it just sounds like this. So yeah, sounds fine. It sounds kind of boring right now, but I think it will be good once I replace it and kind of do some different things with it. So that's the song. That's my song starter. And as you can tell, it still sounds like pretty full, pretty big. There's a lot going on. I mean, there's not that much going on, but I mean, the drums will be replaced. The drums kind of sound boring and really kind of just dull, but there's definitely a vibe here that I really like, and it didn't really take that much. And so if I can just fine tune all the elements and place the things in the missing spots, I think it'll actually sound pretty good. So that's kind of what I'm working on, what I'm trying. I showed one of my other song starters in one of my previous videos, so you can check that out as well. It's similar, just kind of basic like this, but it has kind of a decent vibe to it. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on with this one.
Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.
Yo, what's up? Okay.